do
Good
know
evening.
your videos off, right? Sorry.
It's okay, Rich. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Life is People. Edition number 59 tonight. And tonight we're joined by Black Kevin. I'm going to call him Black Kevin, and you can bring the abuse on. I don't care. Bring the abuse. It is
I
my,
would
my,
never.
my friend Black Kevin. So how you doing tonight, my man?
Doing awesome, man. Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm really good. And obviously, how you doing tonight, Rich?
I'm doing pretty well. It's
Cool, cool.
noontime here in New Mexico.
Well, I mean, just to, I'll go straight into it. I mean, obviously, from the sort of reviews I've been putting out, obviously you're an up and coming comedian, which is only just part of what you are. And obviously we'll talk about the rest later because there's a lot more to this man just being a stand-up comedian. But you're obviously based in New York City and stuff like that. And again, it was one of those ones that I'll tell you how we came into contact. It was through James. Obviously, because he did this
Yep.
podcast and he gave me the nods up and told me, and then we came into contact with each other, and here we are. So, well, I mean, as I kind of like, I think the first question to ask someone like you is, I mean, how long have you been doing comedy for?
Comedy, man. When people ask me that, I like to say I've been doing comedy since birth. I came out the womb, making the doctor laugh. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I could honestly say when I became serious about it, um, probably when I was really young. Honestly, when I was little, I used to always watch stand-up comedy with my dad, and comedy movies with my dad. Even though I wasn't really old enough to watch it, he would make me cover my eyes or cover my ears, but I would listen anyways. And I would just go to school, tell the jokes. One of the comedians I really looked up to was Dave Chappelle and his whole Chappelle show. And yeah, I mean, ever since I seen that, I'm like, that's what I want to do. Some people they wanna be like astronauts, they wanna be famous chefs. I want to be a comedian. I want to be a famous comedian.
Well, man, you mentioned there you're watching comedy with your old man. What was because obviously that's your early influences. So what was he watching? Was he, what was his comedy?
Well, we would watch things like the Kings of Comedy before they were kings. It's like a special DVD. It's basically like Dave Chappelle before he blew up, Steve Harvey before he blew up. Um, we used to watch In Living Color. I watch Martin like every day. Um, just a lot of stuff, a lot of DVDs, and a lot of funny movies with a lot of bad words in them. But hope they didn't really stick with me that much. So yeah.
Man, I said this to James a couple of weeks ago when he was on the pod. It was like I always admired people like Richard Pryor. I mean, I remember I was trying to say to him, but
Oh
the thing
yeah.
about trying to get rid of hold of Richard Pryor over here in the late '80s was an absolute struggle. You know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? Because it was just you didn't see it on TV because we only had like 4 or 5 channels. You couldn't really buy it on DVDs. You had to sort of get copies of copies and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think the point I'm trying to make is it's these guys now that were then kind of I don't know how big they were in America, but they were real
Yeah.
path. They were real kind of leading lights in their time, weren't they? Really, you know what I mean? Richard
Oh
Pryor,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of a sort of what that's like in America. I don't how is he? I mean, is Richard Pryor, for instance, is he held up in quite high esteem at the moment in America, or is he?
Oh yeah, yeah. When people usually rank the comedy through like the different time eras. Like the reigning king of comedy now would be Kevin Hart. Before him, probably Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy-ish. Then we had the kings of comedy, of course, and then usually right at the bottom would be Richard Pryor, along with Bill Cosby, which fuck Bill Cosby. But Richard Richard Pryor. I got no comments on that, but Richard Pryor is definitely one of the top, the Godfather, I would say of comedy.
Well, it's quite funny you mentioned Bill Cosby because it was. I mean, I listened to a few podcasts over your part of the world, and especially by people like comedians and like your Duncan Trussells and Joe Rogan and stuff like that. And they were
Yeah,
saying, I remember them saying a few months back that before all this blew up about Bill Cosby, he was actually killing it. He was killing it. People. I mean, I think I heard a quote that apparently. Chris Rock has said this is like, man, I can't even go along doing comedians anymore because he's that good. He's really raised the bench level.
Oh yeah,
So
man.
I don't know. It's just strange, man, how Bill Cosby's gone from, someone who was having a go at Eddie Murphy in the 80s for swearing and using curse
Mhm.
words to
Yeah,
basically,
doing 10 times worse. And I really commend Bill Cosby, because I mean I look at it this way: if you can be a huge, you could be as successful as Bill Cosby was as a comedian without saying one swear word. Like, I don't even know how in the world that works, but that's just something like I feel like only like a champion can do something like that. Champion.
Or
Not saying
serial
all the
rapist.
other comedians. That too. Maybe that's why he's so successful at
Maybe
it.
the equivalent of the two, right? Because you're compensating, you're overcompensating on another part of your life, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there then, so But he did his thing back in the Dizzy.
he did indeed, man. And
Yeah.
I think the thing was, it was the thing that was a strange thing, as I was just trying to allude to, as much as it was hard to get like Richard Pryor. Bill Cosby was known. I mean, man, because he gave that. And to be fair to him, and I think this is one of those things. It's like a lot of these people. I'm not. This isn't any quote on Bill Cosby's. I don't really get into personal issues at all. But man, at the time, it was, and I can only speak in my experience, it was the first sort of black positive thing we saw. We actually saw a black family trying to be, not
Yeah,
just what the media was. So in that
exactly.
sense, man, he did a lot of good, because for people like me who had never seen grown up amongst black people, seeing this whole positive image, especially in the late
Yeah,
80s, in the 90s, was a great
mhm,
thing.
definitely. I can
Yeah.
only imagine. I wasn't born, so I can only
Yeah.
imagine. But yeah,
I was going to say, yeah, I grew up in a place that was pretty well mixed because it was a military town. So you have a lot of Mexicans and blacks and whites all intermingled together because they served in the army together. And so I lived in an area that was pretty well a strong mix of all the races. And it seems like you know, given that people who don't live in those areas, well, they get all of their ideas about other races from television. The
of
Jeffersons,
course.
Sanford and Sons, the Huxtables, and so yeah, this is an interesting. Now you yourself, I just looked up Fall River, and I'm like, wow, you're out of 88,000 people, you're one of 1,900 people that are black, and it's like that.
Mhm.
That's a really big difference. So what is that
Oh
like?
yeah, man. I prayed one day I would get asked this question. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, man, I mean, this is how I went. I moved a lot as a kid. I moved a lot. I used to live in Brooklyn, New York. I used to live in Lynn. I used to live in Boston. And when I moved from Boston to Fall River, being in Boston and Brockton, I moved in Brockton too. It was mostly black kids, and there was like a few white kids. I didn't think nothing of it. It was just we did our thing. We had a good time, and then I came to Fall River, and I went to my first classroom. It was like third grade, and I was like the only black kid there, and it didn't really start hitting me. Like, I didn't really realize, like, damn, I'm the only black person here. Like, it didn't start hitting me till like middle schoolish. But I mean,
You got the name when they start differentiating you from the white Kevin.
yeah, exactly. And it was it was different. I can't really compare it to anything because I don't know what my life would have been like if I went to a school with predominantly black people. So I don't know. But it was different, and I did notice it. I mean, everyone liked me though. I feel like that's one of the strong capabilities that I have is, I'm really likable. And I didn't really have any issue with it. No one really had any issue with it. I mean, yeah, there's black jokes here and there, but that's to be expected. You know. But it was all in good favor. Not to like, no one called me the N word. Or, like no one did that. And then I went to high school, and then that's when I, became Black Kevin, and with a Black Kevin there was a White Kevin, and we were both friends, and yeah. So basically, being the only black kid, it's nothing really major, At least up north. I don't know how it is down south or anything
There's
like that,
really a
but
difference between North and South in the U.S. It seems.
Oh yeah. You know, up north, everyone's cool. You know, as long as you mind your business, don't bug nobody, you'll be good.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I can only give you one, kind of like experience, and this is and I think this sounds like it was like from the 70s, but this wasn't. This was 5, 6 years ago. No, I used to be a football coach, so a soccer team,
Mm.
and I kind of, because of where we were in Leeds, which is quite inner city people, we had quite a lot of people coming in from Congo and other parts of the world and stuff. So I kind of built a team around all these kids because obviously, it was great. But I
Yeah.
remember when we took our team away one time, we took them into like heart of Yorkshire, which again isn't some like backward area and stuff like that. And they were 14, 15, and we went to places. We went to play some football teams, and they would go up to the black guys and go, "Can I touch your hair?" And this was only 5 years ago. It's
Yeah.
amazing how it's really is amazing. I don't know. I mean, me and Rich can sort of tap onto more, but it's what keeps me really positive in this life, my friend. Is that we've moved so much as a human species to where where, like I say, from 20, 30 years ago, where there was no contact between any of us, and now,
I
you know
know.
what I mean? Imagine. I mean, I thought about it now. Imagine it'd be like me walking around Africa and someone coming up to me and touching me and going, "Oh, look, he's got straight, really thick hair." It's
It
so
feels so
weird.
smooth. Definitely, I've had a couple people in my school even fill my hair too. They're just curious, like, oh wow. One guy's like, it feels like Velcro. I'm like, okay, can I feel your hair? And
Exactly,
I was
man.
like, wow, it's so smooth. I was like, whoa, look at us in harmony, filling each other's hair. But it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
So when you kind of like you kind of like delved into it, and you said, you'd be a comedian since you came out of the womb and stuff like that. When did you kind of have the first inklings? Was it at high school that you could make people laugh? Was that the first time you thought, wow, I've got something here?
Um, I mean, it was more like a consistency. I was always making people laugh, and I loved it. Me moving so much, I didn't really have like a lot of friends because I always moved from place to place, you know. And basically when I came to Fall River is when things started changing for me, and I went to high school, and it would be the bus rides home from high school. I would sit in the back of the bus with the other people, and I would just crack jokes, and everyone would just look at me with like such joy on their face, and like I don't know, it felt good. I'm like, damn, like that's what's up. Like I can't wait till school's over tomorrow. I'm about to like crack more jokes and stuff about my day, and it was just that's when it like hit me. I was like, damn, like I like the way this feels. I want to do this. Like I want to take it to another level. I want to do it times 100. So that just motivated me even more to push myself to take it to the stage.
So how old are you now?
Right now I'm 20.
And are there any comedy clubs near you?
Near me, I heard there are probably a couple open mics, but the nearest comedy clubs will be out in Providence. It's probably like a 30 to 45 minute drive, but that's more like the city, tall buildings. I
Right.
like to think of myself as a city boy, so that's where all the comedy clubs are. So that's where I plan on going out and building my little name out there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I heard is, and I don't know how true it is, but this is like the idea of building yourself as a comedian is so important to move around to different cities to
Hmm.
find out what's universally funny, because what's funny in Boston may not be funny in New York as much,
Exactly.
yeah. And but definitely check out Kill Tony. That's hilarious, and you get to hear people going on giving their 1 minute, and
Yeah.
and yeah. I don't know if you were here earlier listening to him give his a 1 minute.
No,
Don't have to. You don't.
no.
I don't mind if you do.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm definitely gonna have to do that.
Well, we can
I'm gonna.
maybe finish the show with that one. I mean, Joe, we'll make that a show killer, man. We can finish with 1 minute alive, man. Or just go on. Now, one of the things that definitely watching you, man, particularly about your sort of comedy, and I don't know how much it is in stand up and stuff like that, but it
Yeah.
was something that it was brilliant about you, man. Was you're great at doing impersonations. Now, when did you start doing that? I mean, this must be something did you do that as a child and stuff like that? Because to impersonate someone, I think is a real skill, and you can
Mhm.
to have it bang on like you do is I mean, how did you develop that skill?
Thank you. Honestly, I mean, I would just like listen to people with funny accents or like weird accents, and I would just go for an imitation, and then like if especially if I see like because I poke fun at everybody, we all poke fun at people. So like if I see someone with like someone that looks like they're like straight from Africa, like they have like the robes, the dark skin tone, the hat, I see them, I come up with like a little, oh, look at this Buddha over here. It is, and I get that reaction. It's just so funny. I don't do it in bad, like, making fun of people, but it's funny, like, people like hearing people being made fun of. It makes the world go around. It makes people smile. It's all in good fun. I would say it to their face. I'll be like, hey, brother, how you doing, brother? And they'll laugh about it too. So I mean, I don't know. I guess kind of me traveling around as a kid, I got exposed to different ethnicities. Like when I went to school in Boston, there was a lot of Jamaican people there, so I was able to kind of work on my Jamaican accent. I'd be like, "Wagwan, rude boy, our things going over there," And then, going to school out in Brockton, I would perfect another accent with the majority of the ethnicities over there. So it's kind of, I guess, moving as a young kid kind of helps in that sense. So, yeah, it's just something I do for fun.
It's one of the joys of being an outsider, isn't it? I mean, you get to view a lot of people, and you can get to. I think it's one of the things about being an outsider. I think it's one of the things I'm a bit common with you, and I've always been a bit of an outsider. And one of the great strengths, I think, is you have the ability to view a lot around you.
Yeah.
And it gives you the ability to, like you say, you can, like you're saying, you're doing it with accents. It's a real.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a real. Strength and a real big tool to have in your armory as a comedian is the ability to, like you say, to pick on people and see what their accents are and stuff like that. And I mean, do you find? I mean, it's always an interesting one. Do you find all accents exactly the same, or is like particular white accents particularly hard to get, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there a particular accent that, or are they all? Do you all treat them all the same?
I don't know. I haven't really thought of it that way. I mean, different. I guess kind of say. I mean, I used to when I played Xbox with my friend Lauren, I would try to practice my British accent, and I would kind of talk like this, and I would ponder if my accent was actually accurate or not. And then she would tell me, she's like, "We don't sound like that. You sound like the Queen." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I think I sound pretty good. So I guess, if anything, my British accent will need some work, if anything, then, because I apparently sound like the Queen. So I thought it was decent, but, I mean, I guess it would depend on the person of that ethnicity. I mean, from my standpoint, I think I sound pretty similar to the accents that I perform, but, I mean, like, my Jamaican accent, if you compare it to a real Jamaican, you're not going to understand what they're saying. It's so... it's so thick, it's so accentish that it's like, So, I mean, I guess I kind of have like an Americanized version, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, man. I mean, the one thing about the Jamaican accent, and anyone really in the Caribbean, is it's so strong that it lasts generations, man. I know people back in in Leeds and stuff who are third, fourth generation, and they come from Trinidad, and they still speak with a really thick Trinidadian accent. It's you know what I mean. But then I suppose I think that's one of the things. I mean, I don't know. I mean that's what I loved about I love about strong accents. I think strong accents are a sign of real tribal identity that's been that's been washed away, because you get this whole. I listen to so many people, and you think, well, where are you from? I haven't got a clue. You've got this mid-Atlantic kind of drawly kind of, or you get to the point like a Bomber. He starts off with one accent, and now he sounds like Clinton. This whole southern drawl crap. It's like, whoa, can't you just be real? Be who you are.
Be yourself.
Exactly, man. Be yourself. Yeah. You're the president, man. If you can come out with any accent you like, man. Come up with some rude boy African accent. I don't care. You're president, man. You can't swing it when you're president. And when can you swing it?
No. You can't. You really can't. I feel like that's another thing too. Even though I do want to be a comedian, I do want to be famous, I want to be a celebrity and all this. One thing I want people to know throughout my journey is that you should be yourself. You shouldn't be the type of person that wants to fit in with others. You know, be yourself and make people want to fit in with you. You know,
Exactly.
I preach this every day on Facebook, and you know, I know there are people who listen. There are people who inbox me and tell me, "Oh man, you need to give great advice and stuff." And I just want people to know that above anything, that I want people to believe that, you know, they can do anything they set their minds to. You know, if you work hard towards it and you want it bad enough and you know how to get it and you know what to execute, you can achieve anything. Because there are so many people out there who just have like, you know, negative outlooks on themselves and they don't think they can do anything and they're just failures, and it's like, no, that's not true. Black Kev says you can do it, you know, if anything. So if you guys watching this interview get anything from this interview, I want you guys to know that you guys can do anything you set your mind to, and you're all amazing individuals.
No, man, 100%. I mean, it's almost kind of overlays with. I mean, we had in the last podcast, we had a guy who's he's a coder, and we were making that. We were having this very discussion. It was about, you know, we've got the greatest ever computer system in our skulls, and not to utilize that to its fullest extent, which is that whole thing that you said. You've got to be positive. And I think that's a real message that needs to be carried through with a lot of people, because there's so much negativity around, and it is, like you said, like you said it exactly bang on the nail. You know, we've all got this potential inside us, and we've got to unleash that potential. And as you know, things will happen. If you, it's like, it goes back to what, you know, I was trying to say. You mentioned when you back of the bus and you're making people laugh. That's exactly it. If you stand up, you do something, you gain a bit more confidence, and you move on, and it builds from there. That's with anything, whether it's comedy, artwork, anything you put your mind to.
Exactly. Anything. You know, Jay-Z said, he quotes, we all have genius level talent. We just need to find what it is and tap into it. Sky's the limit from there.
Exactly, man. I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, you know, again, you know, you obviously you're taking an angle from, you know, to make people laugh and stuff like this. I mean, and then, again, I'm really fascinated with this process. I mean, you kind of mentioned, obviously, you've been an outsider in the sense you've been moving around a lot in your life. Now, when you're like, you know, you said you're doing impressions, and you know, you're picking up, obviously you're looking around for characters. Will you write stuff down on a notepad, or do you do it in your, you know, in your phone, or does it just go in your head, or does it, I mean, how does this all develop from you?
For all my stand-up that I've been doing so far, I do type everything up on my handy-dandy Samsung Galaxy S6. Shout out to Samsung, you guys are awesome, thank you. Hope you guys can endorse me or something, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I do type everything up on my phone, and basically I just rehearse, and memorize it. You know, I remember seeing an interview with Jay-Z one time. I think if he says that if he rehearses, because I believe he doesn't. There's something he doesn't do. He doesn't bring his paper with him as he raps to record a song. I believe he just does it all off the head. So I kind of have like a Jay-Z style to it, where I write it down and I just rehearse it until I have it embedded in my brain, and then I go on stage and I say it. Because a lot of people, when they bring their notepads or they bring their stuff with them, you know, if that's what makes you comfortable, that's fine too. But it allows you to interact with the crowd more. You get more of that energy, that stage energy, when you're able to interact with people and you don't have nothing in your hands except just you and the mic, you know. So I do write it down and I do memorize it, and then from there I just take it to stage and get some laughs, feed off the energy, and just do my thing.
So you'll take it literally straight to stage. You won't sort of like perfect it and try it with a few of your mates and your pals and stuff like that, and then see what works, or do you just go straight out into that? You know, there's the lights, there's me from that stage, and here's it. You know, just go for it. You know, like almost being chucked out of a plane without a parachute sort of thing. Like, you know, there you go, just go for it. Is that how you're doing it? It's what it sounds like.
It is. It is. It's what I've been doing so far. So far, I've just writing it down, rehearsing it to myself, and just hitting the stage. And I've only hit the stage 3 times so far. Like we talked on Twitter, I have a show coming up August 16th at Comedy Connection Providence. Show up there is gonna be lit. It's gonna be naked bitches everywhere. Now I'm joking. It's not gonna be naked bitches. I can take my shirt off if you want. But I forgot the. Oh yeah, so I just hit the stage and I go. You know, my first show was great. You know, I was really nervous, but it was awesome and it was a great experience. My second show, I went to Comedy Connection. It was my first actual professional place. My first show was at like a pub on Park, like a nice little diner. And my second show, I was on stage. That show went well. It could have went better. I'm not gonna lie. It went well. But my third show was back on Pub Park. Basically what my first show was, and that was a hit. I hit it right on the nail. Because I did all different material each show. So my third show I had different material hit right on the nail, and I got that stage energy that artists talk about all the time. You know, being on stage is like it's like a high,
Mm.
and it's better than anything in the world. And I felt that night. And when I felt that, I was like, wow, I felt like I was on the bus again. I was like, this is what I need to do. This is it. And you know, all the props that the fans and the other comics out there gave me was just nothing but inspiration. I mean, I had comedians who have been doing it for 30 years. This one guy, I'll never forget. I don't remember his name. I'll shout him out. But he looked me in my soul, man. In my soul. He held my hand. He shook my hand. He wouldn't let go of my hand. It was so weird. He kept holding my hand. He looked me in the eye. He was like, you need to keep doing this. You need to do this. This is you. I'm like, thanks, man. It's only my third time. He's like, it's your third time? You need to do this. I'm like, thank you. Can you let go of my hand, please? But yeah, man, it was awesome, and it was just a huge blessing, you know. And I feel like it's always good to just self-reflect on yourself and where you've gotten yourself. A lot of people, you know, they keep pushing, and they don't take the time to self-reflect and realize, hey, like, I've made it to this point. Let me pat myself on the back. You know, even right now, I mean, think of what I've been doing last year, this day last year. You know, I was probably just playing PlayStation, or not even PlayStation, playing 360, playing Xbox, and now, you know, I'm getting interviewed by you guys. You know, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys taking the time out. You know, I'm getting interviewed. I'm doing live stand-up, and it's like, you know, it's a real blessing when you see, you know, the fruits of your labor, you know, shine in front of your face.
Yeah,
So,
man. I mean,
yeah.
this is the exact. I mean, I'm so glad you're saying this, because I think this is the wake up moment that maybe humanity is going to have to go through, or is going through at the moment, and it's exactly this. Because I think we've been. I don't want to get too deep on this shit, but you know, man, all been brought up, and especially you as Americans and we over here, because we're not that separated in the fact of our culture, but we're given this whole ideal about you just go through life, you get to be pretty, or do some, you know, like do the minimum possible, and like magic, it'll all just pop into your lap, and fame and riches will just drop onto your lap. And what you're saying is it's so correct. It's all about the work you put in. It's all about every step, every step, every step. And one of the things that I think was really uh, inspiring, what you just said then in that whole conversation, that piece you just said then, was it was like one of the things I think, not only to the people who have the idea of like, well, life will just drop on my plate, and you know, if I just get my tits out, that's it, you know, everything's going to drop on my plate and I'll be like Kim Kardashian. But equally, there are so many people, man, and you all know this, who are working and working and working, and we never pat ourselves on the back. And I think you're very correct in what you said, because I think sometimes we're the hardest of our critics. We never stop and
Yeah.
say, you know, man, actually I've done quite a lot, I've moved quite a lot. And I think it's like you said then, it's having that backward perspective and going, look at the journey you traveled, as much as you look as far ahead as you can.
Yeah. Exactly. And a
So
lot of
mate,
people need to self-reflect on themselves and just, you know, show themselves the respect that they deserve. You know, never look down on yourself. Never tell yourself you can't do it, because if someone else were to tell you that, you'd punch them in the face. So why would you talk to yourself?
exactly, man. So I mean, like you said, you get up on the stage and you're there. I mean, I kind of got some kind of understanding of that, because I used to be in a band, so I get the idea of going when it's like to go on the stage and the fright and stuff like that. And I also can understand the high you're talking about. But I think the difference between me being a musician back in the day and you being a stand-up is I think this is why I have ultimate respect for stand-up people, it's like yourselves, because you're just
Okay.
alone with a mic. You haven't got. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're doing your whole. For the bits I've seen, like on YouTube, you're not there with a puppet. You haven't got anything between you and the audience. It's just you, the mic, a light, and then you're up there and go. Do you know what I mean? So it's what I'm trying to say, when you're in that experience, because you're so, like you say, so connected to the audience. Do you find that when you have been in, you said you've only done a few now, but as much ideas in that moment popped into your head, and it's that's built onto something else. Has that happened yet?
I feel like as I get more and more comfortable, there are certain like things that pop into my head, and I do kind of like spit out quick little funny things that just pop into my head. But I mean, what has been happening is I've been forgetting things that I've written down. You know, it happened my first show. I recover well from it though. I noticed that. It happened my first show. There was a certain joke I was supposed to say, and I completely forgot it. And then I continued on, and it went unnoticed. It was good. My second show, it happened again, and it was like it was the professional place, and I was kind of like stuttering a little bit, and I was like, it's just crazy, and like, it's terrible. And then it hits me, my next show. I'm like, oh, thank God, I say it, And I don't think it happened. Did it happen my third show? I don't even think it happened my third show. My third show was my biggest, best show yet. It was perfect. It was perfect in every essence.
So I mean, when you're doing your clubs you're doing, what are they? Are they kind of like bars, or are they it's actual stand-up venues in themselves? I mean, what kind of places you're doing?
Well, I've been to two spots so far. I've been to Comedy Connection in Providence, and I've been to Pub on Park, which is in Rhode Island, I believe in Cranston. Pub on Park is more like it's like a restaurant slash bar, and they have like a nice little stage, and you get your food, you perform, and you go to drink at a bar and stuff like that. And I really like that setting, especially after my third show. My third show was a competition too, so there was a lot of people there. And it was just a great vibe, everyone's having a good time, and it's awesome. But Comedy Connection, I love it as well, but it's more professional. You don't feel like you're at home. At Pub Park, you feel like you're at home telling jokes with your family and friends. Comedy Connection is different. It's like there's a big spotlight on you. You can't see anything. It's like it's different, and it's a challenge that I can't wait to master because I love challenges. But it's really different. It is really different. There's a big spotlight on you. There's a guy waving you with a little light to tell you to get the fuck off stage. It's so professional and different. So I like them both though.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same with you, but it's especially when you're in the process, like you're saying, you're starting off. And do you find it hard? I mean, if a group of your friends all turned up, would you find it harder to play in front of your friends than you would be complete strangers? I remember I've been out in a band. I never like playing in front of my friends. It's like, no, don't tell them about the gig, and I just want to play in front of strangers. Is that something that sort of like you've experienced as a comedian? You don't?
I completely understand what you're saying. I don't think I've got to that point yet because it's like so far I've just been so nervous it doesn't even cross my mind. But as I get more comfortable, not really. I thought so, I thought so. And it just goes to show, you kind of think you know yourself, but you don't really. You surprise yourself when you're in the heat of the moment. When I'm in the heat of the moment on stage, I'm not really, fearful for my friends being there. It's just I just don't want to look stupid. That's all I'm thinking. But I completely understand that because your friends they have a certain outlook on you. They know how you usually act. They know how you typically act, how you typically talk, how you typically walk. So for them to see you in a different state, it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like different on you. Like you kind of don't really want them to see you that way. So I kind of understand what you're saying. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. But I surprisingly haven't been really hit with that issue really. So, I mean, as long as people are laughing, I don't really care. I look over at my friends briefly, but then I'll just look away and look on to other people. But my friends are real supportive, and I love all of them. They've been real supportive and really just motivating me to keep pushing it. Actually, it was my friends that been telling me to do stand up ever since middle school. They've been telling me you should do stand up and comparing me to great comedians like Chris Rock. Chris Tucker. It's like, oh, you remind me of Chris Tucker. You remind me of Chris Rock going on stage. I'm like, thank you. So,
man, it's mad that you bring up Chris Tucker because I was going to mention this, and I've been saying to a few people about you coming on Sunday, and I said you remind me of Chris Tucker. There was something about you that reminds you, especially the way.
Thank you, man.
Exactly. There you go, man.
Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Shout out to Chris Tucker one time, man.
Man, he was one of them guys because it's kind of like That's what I'm saying. He falls into that whole category, like I was trying to say earlier on. He was someone back in the day. You know, I love Chris Tucker. Then you kind of life goes on, man. Shit goes on. Things pile up. And I thought the other day, I saw some of your stuff. Oh, Chris Tucker. I wonder what he's doing now. And I went back, and he's still doing stand up, man. I don't know if you're
Yeah,
aware of
he's
this.
back. He's
Yeah,
back. I
man.
remember he was talking about the IRS came after him and they were taking money, so he made a smart move going back to what he's good at, going back to what he's talented at. So, he's doing that. He's older, he's wiser, so I know he has a bunch of new jokes, you know. That's
Well,
awesome.
man, he was making that very point, man, because he got caught up in that. He was making making the joke about how he should have never taken the tax advice from Wesley Snipes. But he's another one, man. I mean, again, I don't know if this is part of his old comedy stuff, but man, I watched him the other day, and he was like, his impression of Clinton it's one of the best impressions of Clinton I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, man, that's what I'm saying. You reminded me because it was the way you do your it's your facial. It's the way you do your you contort your face because you hear a lot of people do impressions, and what I loved about even the one, when you talk about have I got the job yet, you went straight into the woman, and you got that she was in, and I knew I could see her. You know what I mean? But you didn't just give the words, you gave the whole. And that's what's a real talented thing to do because a lot of people can do impressions, but to get the actual character out and almost embody it without putting any wigs or makeup on, it was brilliant, man. And the way you did it, you just
Thank you.
to and from, man. It was just, was that a real experience, or was that built on a kind of, it's something you actually happened to you?
It was exaggerated. It was exaggerated. She really wasn't hula hooping, but she was a hula hooper or a pole dancer or whatever she was. I remember she did something with her hips. I don't remember if she was a pole dancer or something, but she was an older lady, and yeah, she had good energy. And I did not get the job, and I'll never forgive them for that, for wasting my time. I waited a long time. I walked. I slaved. I had to walk my black ass all the way across the city. I had to take a bus. I had like a shirt and tie. I was dressed ready to work. I had to wait an hour. I'm gonna say it one more time. An hour for this lady to come in just to ask me like 3 questions and say, okay, we'll call you. I'm like, wow. So then I went to that gas station across the street. I'm like, is y'all hiring? They took my name down, and they didn't hire me either. But at least I wasn't waiting an hour. So that's that.
Man, I mean that's one of the one of the things. I mean, I loved your line. What was it? I look so fresh. You would have wanted to. What you wanted to rob me down the street, and I was just thinking, almost like you're so fresh, they want to kill your shadow, man. That's how good you look.
Yeah, man. Ooh, I was looking good that day.
But do you know what I mean? And so, like you going back to the again, because I'm always fascinated with this whole comedy, stand-up experience. That's what I'm saying. Does certain venues make a difference? I mean, does the audience, like you said, you play in front of a restaurant? Does that mean that the people who are ordering, you've got waiters going by? Does that affect you, or I mean, I don't know. These things must really affect someone when you haven't got a music, a guitar or a drum kit to hide behind, and all these little things that when you're a band wouldn't really think about. When you're a stand-up, when I actually think about it, man, that would really be a big event. That somebody just walking past, ordering drinks, or a couple of people just having an argument at a table because she's not giving him any, and he hasn't. She's like, well, you're no good in bed anyway, and you're like, whoa, I'm trying to do my setup here. I don't know. Do these kind of things affect you, or?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really been affected. Now that you mention that, it kind of makes me think about it. It's like when I was on stage for my 3rd show. To kind of explain it, it's like I get engulfed in the laughter, and it's like I almost go blind, kind of. It's like my eyes are open, but it's like I'm just blind and I'm just engulfed in the laughter, and I'm controlling the crowd. I say something, and then they laugh, and it's just like. It's just hard. It's kind of like you're not even there, It's like you're not even there. It's just like it's hard to explain. But I mean, I don't even really see anything. Only thing I really see is when I look at my table. to where my friends are and stuff, you know, I kind of look at there and I see them smiling at me, and then I just go blind again, you know. So I mean, I haven't really gotten distracted by, you know, any waiters or anything like that. But you know, as long as I hear that laughter, I just get in my zone, and I just go blind and I do my thing until I'm finished with my set.
Man, I think that's one of the things. I mean, one of my highlights in my life, and I've been to many gigs, and I've seen many, you know. And I went to see Bill Hicks twice when he came over here, and for 2 hours of my life, I got to the point where I was physically hurting. I was at the front. I was on the very front line of both shows, and I was just physically, it was just such, I was like, stop, stop, please stop. You know, you are literally killing me. My stomach was ripping apart. And I thought the power of that, it's just one man, a mic in front of me, and he's making me feel like this. I've been to Slayer gigs, and I've been to all sorts of weird gigs in my life, and I've never had that experience. You know what I mean? It's the power that stand-up has, man. Like, I'm fascinated about what it is. I think it's just down to the fact of, it's that human thing. It's a stripped back form. It's, you know, you're not hiding, like I say, you're not hiding behind a, you know, a guitar or a drum kit. And if you've got it, and if you've got the balls to go up there and do it, man, and you can slay, well, it's a magical, you know, it's an untouchable thing, because, as like you say, as much as you're feeling it on stage, trust me, man. I mean, when you're in the audience and you get a comedian who hits it, it just, it makes you feel great for days on end. You get a,
Yeah.
you feel this vibe that spreads, and it just makes you feel like, whoa, stop taking life so seriously, man. You know, chill out a bit. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
So, man, I
it's the
mean,
best medicine.
well, one of the things, again, you've been putting sort of stuff up on YouTube and stuff like that. I mean, who does all your filming for this sort of stuff, or would you just sit there with a camera? Because you've got your little intro and all your stuff like this, so it's obviously quite a little professional, you know, process going on. I mean, how did that kind of start, and who have you got, like a little team that help you do that kind of stuff?
I As for everything, the recording, the editing, the acting, of course, that's all me. I do all the recording, I do all the editing, I do everything. And I actually, what I've been doing lately, for majority of my videos, I've basically just been holding the camera with my hand. I usually use my cell phone camera, as a matter of fact. Back when I had my Samsung Galaxy S3, shout out Samsung. I just been, you know, holding it, recording it, really. But I got really long arms, so, you know, they're off camera. So I got really long arms, so you can't really tell that I'm holding it. But I do, yeah. I just hold my cell phone camera as of right now. I have been looking for to get a more professional camera, and I just basically want to revamp my entire YouTube page, because it's old, you know. My intro, basically, I was in this competition known as Skills USA. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the shirt right now. I'll explain it in a second. It's basically this pretty big competition for vocational schools. Basically, a vocational school being, you know, schools where you go to the high school and then you get a career right after.
Yeah.
You know, they basically teach you plumbing and all that kind of stuff. And the school I went to was Durfee High School. BMC Durfee High School. Shout out Durfee. Class 2013. I submitted a T-shirt design, because I also do graphic design as well. I forgot to say that. So I submitted a T-shirt design to this competition, and you know, basically, make a long story short, I haven't heard back whether I won or not. You know, I was gonna, you know, start scouring the internet, as well as my teacher. He's gonna start scouring the internet as well. My teacher is Renee Gagnon. He's a great guy, one of my mentors. Shout out to Renee. As we did that, one of my friends came in. My friend Maya. Shout out Maya. How you doing? She came in and she started talking to me. I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, she just wants to say hi. And then a couple minutes she left, and then actually, you know, the principal came in. Principal started talking to my teacher. I'm not sure what he said. He said something about they wanted to get something for the paper or something like that. And so a cameraman came in, set up a little tripod, get it all set up. Principal left, came back with the head of the nursing department and a bunch of students who had like little uniforms on for Skills USA. So they actually came to announce the winner. And they said that the winner was someone from this classroom. So my heart starts pounding. I'm like, oh, god damn. Hopefully I won this. So they started reading the paper, and they're like, we're proud to announce Kevin Chanette has won the state competition. I'm like, oh snap! I had the camera on me. Everybody shook my hand. We took pictures. It was lit. It was big booty bitches. Everyone was crazy. Um, yeah, and that was amazing. So I actually got sent to this place where they conducted the state competition. I didn't partake in the competition because I already had won it. I made my shirt design. So from that point on, they sent me to Kansas City, Missouri. Me and the head of the nursing department, Miss Cabucio, they sent us over there, and I competed on a national level. On a national level, I ended up coming third in the entire nation for T-shirt design. You know, and especially me being from a comprehensive school and a competition of, you know, vocational schools, you know, that quickly became, you know, a big feat in itself.
Mhm.
You know, I brought back a medal. I have one in my house, a bronze medal and a gold medal for state, and that was just awesome. So, I completely forgot your question, and could you just repeat it one more time? I forgot your question completely. I was so like,
I was talking about your YouTube videos and you know about how
oh,
your production of them.
yes. So basically, my intro and my YouTube video is just kind of like a compilation of my previous videos mixed with my ventures in Skills USA, which were epic. You know, I felt like a celebrity, and people were high fiving me. You made the shirts, man. You know, it was crazy. So I decided something like that. It looked good in the intro. So I just chopped up a couple of different videos, put them together, put a nice little background instrumental to it, and you know the instrumental was born. And at the I think it's the very last clip of the instrumental is a clip of me with a little Bob Marley hat and
Hmm.
little dreads, and my girlfriend's laughing, ha 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 ha. You know, something a little special because you know she's my girlfriend. I love her, all that corny shit. So yeah, I put her on at the end of there.
So,
But
so
yeah.
no, I was going to say, so is the T-shirt you're wearing, and for the people who are listening, I mean,
Yes.
is the actual T-shirt that you
This
won the
is the
competition?
official shirt. Yes.
Nice.
Let me see, because the design's on the back. Let me put it this way. I'm in my girlfriend's room as well, so don't really mind. But I'm gonna unplug my headphones real quick so I can show you guys the back. And this is the back. I don't know if you could see it.
Yep.
It's a quick little thing. And the shirt isn't originally tie dye. I did tie dye the shirt. Well, my girlfriend tie dyed the shirt. It's originally all white, but basically has the Skills USA with the state of Massachusetts on it. I'll show you one more time. You can see that.
Mhm.
And that's that. So it was crazy, you know, just going to another state, being sent to another state, you know, for something that you accomplished is it's amazing. And there's, you know, literally hundreds upon thousands of people wearing my shirt. You know, so I like to think of that as my first great accomplishment. So it was a real amazing, great experience.
Well, I
And
mean,
I wish I could live like that every day.
well, you mentioned this and this now. I mean, so you obviously you did the design, you sent it in. Well, at what point did you get T-shirts made from it? Was that part of the actual accomplishment of becoming third? You had X amount of T-shirts produced for you. Was that how it worked?
Yeah, they did end up professionally printing thousands upon thousands of shirts because it being a national level competition, everyone who won the on the state level representing Massachusetts was sent to Kansas City, Missouri. Mind you, I was the only person in my entire school that went to the national level competition, so I was a little lonely, but I made friends quickly. But everyone from Massachusetts had the shirt, so we could represent the state.
No, but what did you get for actually becoming third? Did you get any dollar in your pocket or?
Um, We did receive gift cards. Lowe's
Show
gift
me the
cards.
money! Show me the money!
We did receive Lowe's gift cards, but I did get Skills USA certified work ready and all sorts of other certifications and stuff like that, which kind of in turn is a bit better than money because it essentially will help me get a job in graphic design, which well, I'll get money from that as well. So shout out Skills USA. That was a great experience, life-changing experience that I
So,
underwent.
so was it on the back of that BKA movement was born?
Essentially how it went down is I worked with this company previously, and my my mentor of the company had a mutual. He had a friend named wow, I forgot his friend, Joshua Silva. Shout out Joshua Silva. He basically is an entrepreneur and a half. Like, he called me one day. He was like, Kevin, listen, man, I got some big stuff going on down here in the city of Attleboro. I need you to come down here and see what I got going on. So I ended up going down, and he's basically building a conglomerate of businesses and helping everyone grow their individual business. So I went down there, and he asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I have I have an idea of kind of doing what you're doing, building a movement, of people, which originally I planned for my friends, and just, we all dream chase. I have people who want to rap, people who want to sing, people who want to, beatbox, dance, photography. Why not we all come together and just hustle? Hustle together. Why not? So that's how BK was born. I launched the business, got the business account set up. We did end up printing a couple shirts, which I do have to make some more shirts, and I would like to send you guys some shirts as well. Actually, if you could message me on Twitter,
Hmm.
I would love to send you guys some stuff too. You know, but yeah, BK was born. We're an entertainment group slash clothing line. So I do the comedy. I have several rappers. One of my artists, Jamar, he came up from North Carolina, came up to Massachusetts and started making a name for himself. He's been hustling like crazy. He has a couple mixtapes coming out. He's really doing real big things. I have my other artist, Rosado the King. He's getting started. We got him doing some shows. I do have a model, Cheyenne Dias. She's an upcoming model. Um, she's really doing her thing. Shout out to Cheyenne real quick. And I have a lot more people. I can't really think off the top of my head. Who else do I got? My mentor, Josh, of course. Yeah, and a couple more people, and we're just basically, a conglomerate of different businesses and entertainers, and we're just chasing our dreams and hoping, knowing one day we will become something of ourselves. You know.
But man, I think this is really inspiring. I think this is almost a synergy what's going on. I mean, as you know, we mentioned this in in our Twitter feed and stuff like that. I mean, what we're building with N99 and this whole decentralized internet that's coming, this is a synergy because it's almost exactly the same philosophy is where we've come from. We're just a group of people going, let's get a bunch of musicians together and let's try to make something where people get rewarded for their content and they can have their stuff and not be taken away from them. And this is what you're seeing right now. And about your BK movement, I could tell you about, man, I've historic record in Baltimore and stuff like that. There's so many different, what you're doing with BK Movement. There's so many of them all coming around, and what we're seeing right now, and really feel this is this synergy. We're all hitting the same spot together, and we're all going to help each other. I mean, I said to you before, I'm definitely up for putting any of your the people on the BK movement. We put them up on N99 because it's just a way of, as I say,
Definitely. That'd
definitely
be
because.
awesome.
Well, I mean that's the difference. And I was saying this to James when he was on the podcast. When I look at guys like you, and I think, let alone I'll just talk about your YouTube page. You're getting views on that. Your Twitter page, you're getting followers on that. And at the moment, you're doing all the work for these people and not getting any reward for that. And if there's a way basically where someone can just go along and by viewing you, or and then you'll get some payment back for it, and that's the resources back for it. That's how it should be. And I think also for the idea of as you probably found out with the t-shirt company, is an interesting one because I'm an artist and I kind of went down the t-shirt line and I just I kept, and I don't know how it's been interesting to see how with you face the same roadblocks as I did, but it was all the difficulties of getting things from A to B and all the middlemen that wanted their cut along the way, and it was just so frustrating. By the time I got chipped away, by the time it was like, well, man, I'm going to be charging like maybe $60-$70 to make any money on this t-shirt because it's
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
this is what I'm saying. This is where we're coming together, and I think that's why I'm really. I mean, that's what I said. I wanted to talk to you about your BK movement because it's not like you said. It's not just yourself. It's a lot of people, and it's again you're putting your t-shirts out there, and this is something that we could definitely synergize. What we're doing with N99. But again, when you're putting your t-shirts and your designs out there at the moment, I mean, um, what is where can people go? I mean, this is what I'm saying. I'm very aware that I want people who are listening to this or who may listen to it in the future to know where to go. So where can they go to to find some of your designs and your T-shirts and stuff? I mean, I know and you know, but tell the
Yeah.
people.
As for these shirts, I do have to update the site and put the new shirts I have coming out. So as for the shirts, they can go to www.thebkomovement.com. We do have one shirt up there as of right now, but like I said, I'm currently updating more shirts. I have to do more shirt designs. But basically, they can just keep up to date with me personally. I have all the information on my Instagram page, which is basically at Black Kevin. So it's at Black Kevin. You can also follow us on the BKO movement. We also have our own Instagram page, which is at the_BKO_movement. You
Yeah.
can follow us on there. We have all the information. Um, and basically, you can get the shirts straight from the site. And when I do get more shirts, I will be sure to update all the people out there, including you guys, and you guys will be the first to know.
Well, man, you mentioned then. I mean, obviously, you were you said one of your leads into doing the BK movement was your graphic design stuff. I mean, is that something that you've done again for a long time? I mean, I mention this because I'm an artist, and I
Hmm.
love talking to people who do art and stuff. So, was this something that you did? I mean, I'll give you my kind of story. Was I'd always done it. Then I went to school and was told at school, well, no, I'd always put into detention and kept behind because I wasn't drawing a tree the correct way apparently. And I'd always do it at
Yeah.
home. It's something like I've done this completely off my own back.
Yeah.
I've never had an art degree or any of that kind of crap. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
is it the same with you? Have you been doing your graphic design for a long time and how did that sort of come about?
It all came about my freshman year of high school. We had this thing called the Discovery Program, where basically they rotate you around all different classes. One being graphic design, nursing, acting, woodshop classes. And then once you went around and kind of get a feel what you like, you can apply for one and hopefully you'll get in. So I went to a couple. I didn't really care. Honestly, I really didn't give a damn about any of them until I went to graphic design. I always thought of myself as a nerd. So I went in there and we started doing like simple little collages and stuff like that, and I kind of had a knack for it. It kind of stuck out to me. I was kind of, able to learn it quickly. I had a lot of people in the classroom asking me, hey Kev, how'd you do that? Or how do I do this? I don't want to ask the teacher because the teacher is gonna get mad at me or whatever, and I'd show him. So it's something I grew in love with really quickly, and I've been doing it since freshman year. And now I graduated class of 2013. So I've been doing it for a while now, and I love it really. I have been going to college for it. I did 1 year. Recently, I decided to tell my parents that I'm probably going to be going back to college, not this year, but next year, which is probably one of the hardest things I've ever told them because it's like I don't know. They're the type of parents where it's like they beat it into my head. You're gonna go to high school and you're gonna go to college. What do you want to be? What are you gonna do? You need this to support yourself. Support yourself. You need this, which is they do it out of love. And me telling honestly, I told them like yesterday. Like I just told them. So it's like they were pretty. They weren't too really happy about that. But I mean, the reason being is that I love graphic design without a doubt. But I just I just don't really feel ready with everything that's going on right now. I mean, my comedy, I'm working on getting a new car. Um, have classes I have to pay back because I didn't have enough credits for my loans to cover them, so they decided we're not going to cover you, you have to pay us back, and all this hectic stuff, and it's like, if I go back to college, I'm going to have to take my drawing class, and I'm going to have to buy so many tools, and it's like, money, 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 so I just need time to just pay everything off, go back with a clean slate, and you have to want it in your heart. At the moment right now, it's something I want, but I don't want it enough that I know I can go in and pass all my classes and do that. School was never my forte. And I do plan on being great, and I know education is key, education is power. And I am educated. I do read a lot of books, lots of self-success books. One of my favorite books is Life in a Half Second. So, I know education is everything. But there are plenty of people who are filthy rich without a college degree, you know. And not
Hmm.
saying I'm gonna be one of them or plan on being one of them. I do want to get my degree, and I will get my degree. But when the time is right for me, I want my head to be right. I want my whole heart to be in it, and it's just not right now. I got a lot good going on for me. I mean, I'm getting interviewed right now. That's crazy. You know, I never got interviewed in my life, and you know, I have a lot going on for me right now. And when the time is right, I will go back into that. But graphic design is my passion. Um, Recently, I've been working on my resume. I'm gonna see if I can get a graphic design job because I have my Skills USA and all of my other certifications. So I'm pretty certified. So, you know, I might as well give it a shot and see what happens from there. But as for my artwork, I do have a online portfolio. Doesn't have all my work, but it has a few pretty good pieces. That's behance.net/Kevin Chenette. So that's BEHANCE.NET/KEVINCHENET. Go there,
Yeah.
you can see some artwork I did. I did a flyer for world champion boxer KO Kaylee Reese. Shout out to Kaylee. She's a great fighter. She recently went out in Germany to fight some lady for a title. She didn't win the title, but she beat her ass. So it was awesome. She's out doing her thing. I also did a shirt design for a pretty well-known boxer, Toka Khan. Um, I think he's currently undefeated still as of right now. I'm not too sure on that, but yeah. So you know, I'm just working on this portfolio online, and just living life and keep pushing. You know.
So man, when you're doing your design stuff like that, are you someone who draws with what, pen, paper, pencil, or do you do it straight onto the laptop? I mean, I'm old school. I will go straight and use pen. I use pen, and then maybe at times I like to paint, but I love working in pen. You know, not pencil, not. I've never got into this whole iPad shit and trying to draw with your fingers crap. No, I'm old school, man. Just give me, yeah, just give me. For those who are listening, that's going to make no sense at all. But you know what I mean.
Look at the wrist.
Look at the wrist.
But me drawing is not my forte, which is another thing I've been struggling with in college. You know, I mean, I am Skills USA champion and stuff, but you know, you have to understand, I didn't really draw. You know, it's never been something I'm good at, and it's something that I'm still trying to master. You know, a lot of people can go and they can draw these beautiful pieces, and it's like I just get so jealous. And I try to draw, and it comes out all squiggly, and it's like a stick figure. But I love art. I like to think of myself as an artist because I do create art. You know, graphic design, it is a form of art. You know,
Hmm.
that's without a doubt. You know, art has different forms. You know, there's people who can draw, and that's their art. There's people who can do vector art,
Hmm.
you know, digital art, graffiti art, music art. You know,
Hmm.
even comedy. I think that in itself is an art form because if it stirs your emotions, that's art. You know, but to keep it simplified, drawing isn't really my forte, so I do draw in pencil and eraser. I don't just say pencil. I say I draw in pencil and eraser because I'm always erasing because I'm not really that good of a drawer, but I like to draw. It doesn't really make sense. I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. But one day I will get good at it because drawing is one of those beautiful things where it's like you can work hard to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like with singing, you're born knowing to sing. You know, you're born knowing to sing. Whereas with dancing, you're not born knowing to dance, but if you work hard enough, you can get yourself to a point where you're a great dancer. And I
Yeah.
feel the same thing with drawing.
Mate, it's exactly what I was saying to you earlier on when this is I'm saying we're in a mentality of living in a world where that whole philosophy you just said has disappeared. Everything is about work you put in. You put the hours in, you'll get progressively better, and that's with any skill. And this is one of the things that your BKM movement is particularly talking about. It's that whole thing of nothing is without our reach. And I want to say this to you, man, and I'm not blowing up your smoke up your ass on this. You mentioned it, you tapped onto it earlier on, saying you are going to be successful, man. Do you know why I know you are? Because one, you're putting the effort in right now, and this is one of the things I say to a lot of people. And I speak this as a man in my 40s, so I can look back and sort of say this is that you are going to be part of this generation that's going to shape the world and change the world. And big things are coming right now. And the fact that you're already here talking to me, and you even have some sort of understanding of what's going to happen with the internet and how things, and you're going to be part of that generation, man. And I would love to be back. Take me back 20 years, and I was your age, and the way that the world's going to change in the next 20, 30 years with the technology that's going to come and ways and means of making money. It's one of the things that I wanted to. I'm trying to tell everybody is like this, and I don't want to sound preachy, but I just want to let everybody know because there's ways and means of people with this, when this network is released, it means just by just substituting some of your computing space just to go on the network, you're going to be you're going to get payment back just for that alone. And right now,
Hmm.
okay, the coin isn't going to be worth a lot, but man, I don't know if you know any of this, but just go and do some research into Bitcoin. What was Bitcoin like 7 years ago? And people they were buying 6 pizzas with 6 Bitcoin. Well, that Bitcoin now is worth $500, $600, man. Do you know what I mean? And it's like one of
Yeah.
them ones. It's trying to get ahead of these things, and this is why I know you'll be successful, because whatever you'll put your mind to it, man, you're there already. And I know what I was. I only speak this because I know what I was like when I was your age, mate. I kind of had a lot of ideas in my head, but I was no way near where you were. I was a bumbling monkey. I was just, scratching my ass and hoping for the best, and I didn't have this technology around. I couldn't contact people, and I think it's great. You've got the great mind, you've got the great attitude, and you've got time and this technology in your hands, man. Yeah, you're going to be great, man. You're going to be great. I know
Thank
that.
you.
That's a certainty.
Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
No, man, it's what I'm saying. It's all about kind of getting you out. And one of the things that I've been saying for a long time is once I've got this platform built, and I've got the opportunity to give people, get it out to people. My next big project, man, is to get an N99 festival out, and I want people like you, because I want people like yourself to get over here. I want to see you in Scotland, man. I don't want that coming out of your
I'd
pocket.
love to do that, bro.
I want that coming out of resources that you've gained because people have seen you and paid you directly for it. I want that, man. I'd love to see you in Scotland, and then we can see you can see how tough it is for all of us trying to understand that Scottish accent.
Of course, man. That would be something of epic proportions, and it will happen. It will happen. You have to have the mindset, if you know it will happen, it will happen.
Yeah,
I believe in the law of attraction, something that my mentor has recently been talking to me about, Joshua Silva, my mentor. It's the law of attraction. I've yet to get the book, but I did some research on it, and if you just, I recently put this on Twitter, if you just sit down and just decide, if you just decide, I'm gonna be great, you will be great. It's all mental. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, it's not gonna happen. It's not.
Yeah, man, and you can be, and we can both testify to this, man. And what happens is when you get this is why I use the hashtag slay positive all the time. It's about slaying positive. So you've got to go out there, and then what I've learned. And trust me, man, I've had times in my life, and I'm not sitting here saying I've been a happy person in my life. I've had some down moments, and I've been, know what it's like to feel really negative and stuff like that. But what pulls you out, and when I know this works, is you start to do this and you implement it step by step in your life, and then you start to reach out and you connect with other networks. That's why we call it Network 99. It's a network of people, and then you build bigger networks and bigger networks. And I've seen this, man, this is why I know that, and that's why I say to you earlier on, it's not just me blowing smoke up your ass. If you keep at this, I saw this with the rap movement. I saw a bunch of guys in the 80s that started off in New York City, and now every fucking kid in the world knows what rap music and who Jay-Z is, and
Hmm.
it's all about that whole thing. This is a positive. This is one of the things I think is really inspiring about yourself, not only as a stand-up, but as definitely with your BKO movement. It's just you're saying that, and we can both witness this. Is that look at us now, man? We're reaching out. I can help out. Like I say, anything we can help out with BK movement, I'll definitely do everything in my power, and that's what it's about. You reach out, you connect, we all build, and we build, and we build, and build, and before we know it, we're a swarm of ants, and we're ruling the world.
Yes. Yes, definitely,
And
definitely.
we
That's
and we
that's what I wish for BKO, and that's what will happen. I believed in myself up to this point, and look at where it's got me so far.
It is, man, and it's great. So you mentioned, earlier on, and before we wrap this podcast up, I mean, you mentioned earlier on that you've got a couple of shows coming up. So again, let people know the times and the dates of that.
As of right now, I do have one show coming up. It's August 16th. At Comedy Connection, Providence. All thanks to basically, I just want to actually thank James Washington first and foremost for hooking me up with you guys and even helping me with my comedy. You guys need to understand that, James Washington linked me with the right person to get me booked for my first show. The same guy who's been booking me for my last show and my show, now. So shout out to James Washington. I really appreciate that. And shout out to John Parada. He is a great comedian. He's been booking me for my shows, and he's just really helping me, get pushed along. So my next show is August 16th at Comedy Connection Providence. It's gonna be an amazing time. Tickets are $10. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be a good night. And I can't wait for it.
Nice, man. I mean, and again, I would urge you to, to get some sort of recording of that down, either video or
Definitely.
audibly, because it's one of the things that's with stuff like this. Again, great, put it up on YouTube and get this, get it spread around. But again, we're only a few. No, I don't know, stop saying. But we're shortly going to be releasing what we're doing. This is the kind of stuff we can put up there, and then you can immediately get in, resources back for it. You know what I mean? This is
Mm,
great. Definitely get yourself recorded, because I think, again, and I urge anyone listening to this and the listeners that are listening, go out and check yourself. Go and check the site. You've read all the sites, and go onto YouTube and just type Black Kevin. I mean, I don't know what else you'll find, but you'll definitely find you down
Yep.
there.
Type Black Kevin, and you could also type in Avatar 31, which is basically the username I made originally for the account years ago. That's AVETAR 31. Just type that in YouTube, hit search. I should pop up. You see Black Kevin, all that stuff. So
Well,
I'm there.
one of the things I'd like to say to yourself, and I mean, it's something, the call I like to put out was, and obviously, I mean, I'm an artist. Rich over there, he's a photographer. I mean, my usual, and again, I just want to say this is a personal one. My thoughts are with you, Ryan. For those who don't know, he's had some tragedy in his life, so Ryan, my thoughts are with you. But Ryan is a filmmaker, so again, these are the things. Again, reach out if you ever need any help. With anything. Just reach out to us, because there's a lot of greater minds out there that can help you, and we're all out there to
Yes.
help each other. And I know that's why I feel. I'm sure Rich. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way, Rich.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. Um, yeah, I was looking at your Behance channel. I love your graphics. I love the
Thank
one
you.
where is it you holding the world, or is that, I guess that was
Oh,
probably done for somebody else there.
that was for my artist Jamar. Um, yeah, hold on one second. I wanna
I don't know if
see
you could
if
do a
I can.
screenshot to bring it up for everybody, but that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. That was for my artist Jamar. He's a rapper. He's doing his thing. Shout out to Jamar. He's really doing good. His Instagram is actually Jamar underscore Jamar. That's JMAR underscore JMAR. No spaces. So check him out. He's a great guy. Real great guy. Makes great music too. Amazing music.
And is that something do you make any music yourself? Is that something you've done, or?
Back in the day, I dabbled in something. I tried making a song, but one of the guys I met, I don't know if you heard of him, Terrence Manning. He's the barber of the Patriots, New England Patriots. He cuts their hair actually, and I've got to sit down and talk to him thanks to my mentor Joshua Silva. And one thing, I was telling him, he was like, what do you want to be? I was like, oh, I want to be successful. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And he told me I remind him of his brother. And one thing that he said is that you need to focus, focus on what you want, focus on your comedy thing, and once that starts blowing up, then focus on the next thing. Imagine when you're doing your comedy thing, people come up to you, it's like, oh man, you're funny, all this stuff, and then you're like, oh yeah, thank you, check out this shirt actually, it's from my clothing line. Think of what people are gonna feel from that. So Terrence Manning gave me some great advice. So shout out to Terrence Manning because he really helped me in my life as well.
No, no, I know that before this podcast went live, and again, I'll put this out just as a feeler, but because I know what it's like, man. And, especially being an artist, people come to you and say, "Oh, draw me a picture," and it's like, I'm not a seal. You chuck me a picture and I'll perform
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
But man, and I know that you and Rich were talking about before we went live, but mate. Again, we've got a comedian on, and and I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to do any of your kind of routines and stuff, feel free. But again, please, I don't want to be putting you on the spot, man. So just tell me to bugger off, man. I don't care. I'm not
Bubba, no,
fussed.
I'm joking.
Bugger
Basically,
off.
it's like this. When you're doing comedy, it's different. It's like there's a scenery and there's all sorts of things. So I'm gonna do something special for you. Well, I'm gonna tell you something special. I'm
Go on,
not
man.
gonna do a joke, but if you guys do go to YouTube right now, um, I'm gonna. I think I had it as private, so I'm gonna make it public. I'm not sure if I made it public yet. I might have. And you go to my YouTube page. I will make public my first show. So you
Sweet.
guys can go check that out and see how my first show went. As a replacement of me, saying a joke as of right now. So you guys could definitely go do that. It's on my YouTube page. Like I said, type in AVETAR31. I'll pop up and go to my YouTube, click it, and you should be able to watch it right now if you guys want to. So
Cool.
Can you type that into the group chat? Is your group chat window open on Google Hangouts?
let's see.
It's the top
Is-
right hand,
Oh, I
top
see
left
it.
hand corner. Yeah, you put it in there.
All right, cool. So let me see if the video is still private. All right,
There
it
we-
is public. Awesome. So this is what you guys are gonna type in the search. Avatar 31, and the name of the video is it's actually all caps. This is pretty cool.
This is the world of technology.
I know, right? At Black Kevin. Boom. William kills his first time on stage at Black Kevin. You guys can go there, check it out. I give you
Alright.
guys this.
Well, I would definitely recommend to anybody to go out and subscribe to you, follow you on Twitter, check out your
Yes.
back. You know what I mean? You know, trust it goes. Trust it goes without saying, but again, I'll put any of your dates up, anything you want. You want promoting or letting know.
Thank you.
Just let myself know. And again, I mean, follow Rich on Twitter. Go on, Rich. You're always quiet about it. So what's your Twitter account, Rich? Let the people know.
Optic Topic, OPTIC. I'll go ahead and type it in there.
Yeah. I'll go follow you right now.
And so I'm saying we'll and again with we'll to get you back on this podcast soon. Again, really, I don't know if you've got any
Yes.
particular big sort of stuff coming out, but anytime you want or again any of the people involved in the BK movement, if they even want to come on the show and we want to promote what they're doing, you just send them my way, man. Because as I said before, this is the point of where we're living right now. We're all at this synergy moment. We're all there to help each other and boost each other up, and hopefully, hopefully just make this world just that little bit better. You know what I mean? And hopefully take some of these people that take life too seriously and just make them chill out a bit, and maybe you can build a better world. Just even if it's just a little bit, man. Well, I kind of unless you want to sort of say anything, Rich, before we go, I'm quite happy to wrap this podcast up, Rich.
Yeah. I enjoyed meeting you, Kevin, for sure. I'm going to check out that.
You as well. Thank you.
You're very brave, putting your very first videotaped comedies on everybody to watch. That's really, really brave. Most people want to go and take it offline if they ever put it online.
I wanted to put it out for something special, so this is something special I could put it out for.
Awesome.
That's perfect.
The routine up on N99, that would be awesome.
Sweet.
Definitely. Well, like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight, man, and we'll definitely get you back on.
Yes.
And again, please, anyone listening, go out and check, on your Twitter, YouTube, BK Movement. Just go and do it all. And like I say, I all the power to you. And let's see where we can push this thing. Let's see how far we can, let's carry this whole thing together, eh? Let's do this. So, for me in Scotland, I want to say, good night from me in Scotland, and good night to you, Rich.
Good night.
Well, good afternoon.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. And
Good afternoon over here.
From Scotland, this is another edition of Life is People. Life is people, people.